Hello, everybody. This is Will, and I'm going to teach you why Agile, when compared with Waterfall, is more better. Where we're going to start, how Waterfall is generally done. You generally spend like a whole bunch of time right at the start of the process, frantically planning, and then you take this big gamble, and you hope that at the end of the day, you've gotten like somewhere near your target. Except usually there's a big gap between the target. It takes a lot longer than you expected, or you didn't get all the stuff done, or for whatever reason, it doesn't work. With Agile, however, we kind of don't plan so much at the start, and instead we just like take a leap each week. Sometimes in like completely the wrong direction. We're still trying to get to the target, but we just went wrong. And so we spend another week realigning. We figure out what worked, what didn't, and your path to success kind of looks really ragged, right? Like sometimes you literally go in the wrong direction, sometimes you retrace your steps, and eventually you hope that you get kind of close to the end result. Now, the trick here is that it feels and looks really messy, but the overall length of the line, like the amount of work done, is kind of the same, but you get close to your goal. Let me explain kind of why waterfall does what it does to miss the mark all the time. Most projects have like a series of stages, right? Planning and then designing and then building a thing and test. Like big projects have like 80 stages and small projects have like 2 stages, but most projects have stages of some kind. You spend the first 2 months doing a whole bunch of planning, and then you do some design, and I don't know, you show the design to people, then you build it, then you test it. And what ends up happening is these stages are laid out like this, like a Gantt chart, if you know what a Gantt chart is. Each of your stages generally relies upon the other one. And you kind of have these points in the process where you need like sign off from somebody. You know, it's like we have this stage here where planning is done, congratulations. You know, design is done, tick tick, like we didn't get it all done, but whatever. You kind of have this idea of time, right? We want to get stuff done over time. The problem with this is that as each stage goes down, our deadline is almost always, this is like a flag, one of those like end of the race flags. Your deadline leaves a bunch of stuff. And it's almost always testing it and making sure it works that you either don't have time to do, or you have to shift the goalpost and everything costs more and takes too long. The reason this is called waterfall, you've got this waterfall of work that's kind of flows down the waterfall until it finally ends up in the, I don't know, the pool of everything works and we're really happy, except it doesn't work because you don't get anything done. So let's look at the same ideas, but with Agile. So the first thing that we've done is we've kind of added a stage, which is the ability to iterate, the ability to change what we've done. Now, the way that I like to think of Agile is that instead of doing each of these stages one after the other, instead what we do is we take a slice out of it. We do a bit of planning, a bit of design, some building, some testing, and then we iterate, taking a slice out, and then the project is over here. We do it. We've built one narrow slice of the entire stack. We've done a little bit of planning, a little bit of design, a little bit of building. We haven't skipped any stages. We've just only done one feature. Right. And then what we can do is we can like go over here and be like, well, let's try this bit, because based on what we learned in this stack, we found that this part of the project is really interesting. And it actually took a really long time. It was bigger than we thought. And so we add that chunk of work to our product, and so on and so forth. We take little slices of the entire thing, and then we add it to the product that we're building, or the idea, the project that we're doing. And so as we build up this stack, we're still dealing with the idea of time. There's still like, we start here and we finish here, and we're happy like when we've finished. But the key difference with Agile compared to Waterfall is that we're really clear on the deadline. We're not clear on getting everything done. Because often what happens is you get this weird thing where it's like, let's say we take a slice over here and we do it, and we get through to like testing it. It turns out it was like a giant failure and everybody hated it. It was like, this was just a really bad idea and we shouldn't have done it. It means that in theory, what we can do is we can get that slice and we can just kind of like throw it away. We can be like, well, that slice, that was really bad. Let's just like not do it again. And we're going to put it down here and we're going to pretend it never happened. So you don't get everything done that you planned to, but you definitely get it done by the deadline. So in waterfall, you change your deadlines and you change your budget, but you don't change the scope. In Agile, you keep your budget and your timeline set and you change the scope. Let's think about these stages instead of being like foundations that are built on top of. Think of them instead as like a Kanban board. Kanban meaning card you can see. Here's one I prepared earlier. So we still have the stages, plan, design, build, test, done, except we have features. We don't really care about making sure we've done great planning, then we've done great design, then great build, testing. We just go, well, here is a great feature. Let's design it. Then let's build it. Then once we've built it, we can test it with some people. We'll be like, well, that was a great idea. It's done. It worked really well. Then we've got this other totally excellent idea that we do next week. We design, we build, we test. And then when we get to done, it's like, well, actually, that was a terrible idea and it didn't work at all. So we can be this like done / too hard or done / failed miserably. You know what I mean? And eventually we get most of our cards through the process. Now, what often happens is, well, whatever happens is like this card made it through to build. We didn't even get to test it. At least we got these two done over here, right? At least we didn't stop our project here. Because what often happens is if we take a lot of time to plan, design, and build, our due date means that nothing actually gets done. And we end up with a project that's like 90% done, but we can't show it to anybody. And that sucks and it makes everyone sad. So let's go back to our week view. Oof. So the big thing about Agile is that we focus really closely on making one of these iterations work really well. So what we do is we start at the start of a week with a sprint, just a little bit of planning. Then we take a week of work as a leap together. We do a retrospective where we talk about our feelings and what worked in the process and all that kind of stuff. And then we do the whole process again. And so it means that we actually get really good at making all of these little leaps more and more valuable. And I kind of feel like it comes back to this thing of you get good at what you do every week. And so if you spend a lot of time planning, you get really good at planning, but you are no good at all of the other stages necessary to complete the project. Whereas if you get good at working efficiently each week, every week you get better at having more fun doing better work. And that's kind of Agile. That is why Agile is more better than Waterfall. Here's an example. To make this video, here's my project. I literally just wrote this plan, which was like, well, what are the bits that I think there are? We went through why leaping is different to incremental, how the stack works, why Gantt charts are bad. Then we cut the stack with Agile. Then we looked at stages as cards. We went back to the incremental and I kind of drew out a week. And now we get to like, I don't know what to do. Maybe I can be funny. Finished. Great. So the example in this video of my sprint on the idea of showing you guys a video was plan it 2 minutes on a crappy text doc. I designed it with like a free online whiteboard. I screen recorded with my crappy mic. I'm going to show it to you people and then we'll get some feedback and I might do it again. Or I might throw it away because it was a bad idea. And that's why Agile is great and why you guys are great and why we're going to have a great time. Okay, bye.